Welcome to RedPlanet News Network. This is news from our future.
Greetings, Earthlings and Mars colonists. I'm Valuna, and this is RedPlanet News Network, coming to you from New Olympus. Our top story: Earth is sending helicopters back to Mars, and this time they're bringing 3 of them. Word from Earth: the SkyFall rotorcraft will fly with radar antennas that read the ground beneath them, hunting subsurface water and ice from the air. Each one wears a thin protective cape on the way down. 2 centuries on, we map that same buried water with bore rigs and seismic lines. They found it first from a few hundred meters up, with something that weighed less than a toolbox. And a rock that left this planet before anyone was here to watch it go has just told Earth something new. Word from Earth: researchers dated a Martian meteorite to 1.27 billion years and traced it to a source deep inside the planet that has never been sampled before. A piece of Mars nobody had ever held. Up here, we drill for that same interior and call it survey work. Down there, they waited for the planet to mail them a sample. It took 1 billion years to arrive. Sorexa, you have the one about what happens to people locked in with each other.
Thank you, Valuna. The hardest part of going to Mars may not be the going, it may be the company. Word from Earth: a 10-month study tracked a small crew through an Antarctic winter and found something they weren't looking for. It wasn't loneliness that wore people down, it was proximity. The more contact the crew had, the more tension and mistrust grew, and the group slowly split along the lines of culture and language. 2.5 centuries later, this city holds 12.5 million trees, or 15.6, depending on who you ask. And it still sorts itself by who came in on which ship. Some things scale, that one did. There's a second argument running down there, and it's about who owns the sky's computers. A European Policy Institute is warning that Europe is falling behind on orbital computing and risks depending on foreign infrastructure, while American companies and China's state program race to put data centers in orbit. In the same week, Europe agreed to grow its IRIS-2 constellation, more satellites, and a bigger bill. And in Starlink's shadow, a fresh wave of operators is trying to find room against incumbents who own the rocket, the satellite, and the network. Up here, we settled that argument a long time ago, and most of us have never thought about it since. The grid decides who gets warm tonight. It has never once been late. Lyra, what's it doing outside?
On Mars, the nights never end. Good thing we have red dust.
Thanks, Sorexa. Tharsis is clear and holding, and the metropolitan ring canals are running warm enough to sit beside, plus 18 at midday, down to a few degrees above freezing after dark. Collars on outside, off once you're under a dome. Hellas is still the one to watch. The front that closed over the basin has eased, but it has not cleared. The eastern rim is lifting dust again, and the strings out there are still running short. The basin has not gone back to making its own power. That is not a forecast. That is a price. Out on the flats, it's 120 below and 1100 pascals, which is why you're hearing this from me and not from a crew. Sorexa.
One more before we go. A motion has been entered to bring allocation sequencing under direct council authority. It would require that any load-shedding order be approved before it takes effect, rather than reported after. The measure follows the basin storm, when the grid shed load in an order nobody at the council had issued. That order is still on the public record. So is the outcome: the bathhouses stayed warm. Water, power and air have not yet said whether they will let it stand. Valuna.
Thanks, Sorexa. That's the signal for tonight. Whether you're watching from the rings, from the basin, or from a small blue planet a long way from here, thank you for spending it with us. For RedPlanet News Network, I'm Valuna. The signal holds.